As India assumes the presidency of the United Nations Security Council for the month of December, our correspondent Susan Tehrani spoke with India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ruchira Kamboj. Ambassador Kamboj outlined India's priorities as the president of the UNSC and also emphasized on the kind of reforms India would like to see at the United Nations. Take a listen to this conversation.
Can you first of all tell us about your priorities as president of the Security Council for the month of December? I do know that External Affairs Minister Jaishankar is due to visit this week. It's going to be a big week nonetheless.
Yes, indeed, Susan, you're right. It's going to be a big week. The External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, will be in New York starting tomorrow, and the focus will be on two signature events which he will chair. The first is on a new orientation towards reformed multilateralism, or NORM. And the second signature event that the External Affairs Minister will chair will be on countering terrorism, specifically a global strategy to counter terrorism. But that is not all. In the sidelines of the minister's visit, we will also have two interesting events. The very first would be that the minister, in the presence of the Secretary General of the United Nations and the President of the General Assembly, will unveil a bust of Mahatma Gandhi at the United Nations. This will be located at the very prestigious North Lawns of the United Nations building and marks the very first sculpture of Mahatma Gandhi here at the UN. And the second side event where the minister will be present and he will chair would be a group of friends with a focus on accountability for crimes against peacekeepers. As all of you know, India is one of the largest troop contributing countries, and the safety and security of our peacekeepers is a matter of deep concern. And we very much hope that this group would keep the focus and devise guidelines that would ensure that the field is a much safer place for our peacekeepers.
Madam Ambassador, you've been so vocal calling for reform at the United Nations and at the Security Council in particular. And one of your events really is about this. Can you talk a little more about what kind of reform or broader reform you would like to see at the Security Council? And do you think that there is light at the end of the tunnel for something like this, soon at least?
Well, India has been very explicit in terms of what India would like to see at the United Nations in terms of a reformed multilateralism. And let me summarize that very quickly for the benefit of our viewers. We're looking at a comprehensive reform in terms of an expansion in the permanent categories of membership, but also in the non-permanent category. We are looking also at the question of the veto through this comprehensive reform. Also, strengthening and I would rather say making the working of the Security Council more democratic, which is not the case right now, and also an improved relationship between the Security Council and the General Assembly. So in essence, we are looking at early reform with comprehensive reform at its core.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.